We back, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 3, PNA MMA Cast, the Muscle Ball Edition.
Stockton, motherfucker.
Make sure you go to
PNAcast.com
and let us know which of the intro announcements you like better, mine or Nick's. Just tell me it's mine. It's all right. He can accept it.
You sound like you're begging so hard.
I'm not begging. I'm just telling them to do what they know they want to do anyway.
Weird begging voice.
In case you don't know, this is a podcast all about gaming. You can check out our
sad.
gaming-related podcast, the PNA Gamecast. Yep, that does exist. It has one episode. This is episode 3. The MMA Cast today is Monday, August 12th.
Yes, the Gamecast was uploaded on...
Today, Monday, August 12th.
The MMA podcast we uploaded tomorrow. And... what did we talk about in this podcast, Dalton?
We talked a little bit about the previous fight night. What was that, 156?
Yes, good job.
My numbers.
Talked about Mike Putnam Perry.
Getting his nose displaced onto a different face.
Yes, amazing fucking fight. And then we also talked about how good Ozdemir looked against Yair Latifi.
And Valentina did Valentina things.
Yes, what's next for the fighters and all that good jazz. Their little hot takes.
Hot takes?
Shout out to Henry Cejudo, the future intergender champ. And then we made our picks for the top 3 fights of UFC 241.
It's a lit one. Nick thinks it's going to breach 100 million buys, and he realizes it's on ESPN.
100 million, huh?
100 million. That's a big number, isn't it?
Went up there,
huh? Divide that by 100. It's all right.
Yeah. So I was going to break 1 million pay-per-view guys, and I forgot, ESPN, you have to buy it on ESPN Plus. So I don't know, but I know it's going to be a good one.
Yep. So make sure you stay tuned for all of these picks. We go balls deep into it.
Yes. So enjoy. Valentina Shevchenko, I have a message for you. I am looking to become the first ever intergender champion that this world has ever seen. I'm calling you out. You can be the next to bend the knee to Triple C. Are you ready? Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
Is this your Bruce Buffer thing?
Put your hands up.
I gotta say, it's a little lackluster.
Put your hands up for Detroit. Dum, 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 dum. Dum, dum, dum. I love this city. Put your hands up. No?
No.
That's what they do at the Joe Louis Arena or the Little Caesars Arena all the time. They probably don't do that at the Little Caesars Arena now.
Probably not.
I will say this. I hate the new arena.
You hate it?
I thought I was going to love it.
There's no reason not to love it.
It's not a hockey arena.
How not,
It's
Sway?
like an entertainment arena.
It's
it
perfect for any form of spectator
like
entertainment.
Concerts and
hockey included.
Pistons, I'll give it.
What's wrong with hockey?
I'll give it credit for Pistons just because I haven't seen the Palace. I've never gone to a pet game at the Palace. Mm-hmm. But being at the Joe and just the nostalgia of the Joe, the history of the Joe.
It's not the Joe is the reason. Just say it's not the Joe.
It's the setup inside of the arena too. Maybe it's just because they suck right now, and like there's not a lot of fans that come there and they bring the passion with the huge chants and all that. I just feel like it's not. If you're blaming it on
it's not as loud, I think that's definitely on the fans.
Or it could just be how they set it up. It's
structured like just a fucking cylinder. Everyone just goes up. There should be great acoustics.
You know, it's less seats than the Joe, right?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
How many less though?
Not that much, but the point is
enough to make a sound difference. I don't think
they
so.
make it. I think they made it like wider out. Or no, they didn't.
They didn't. It was the opposite.
They made it higher up.
Exactly. So it's like one big echo chamber.
It just feels different.
It's because blame the fans, man.
It's just different.
Yeah, it is. All you complain about when we go to those games.
My cousin was like so like anti the new arena, and I was like, bro, you gotta embrace the change. Like I'm so excited for this new arena. I hated the fucking Joe little seats. You're like all scrunched in and shit.
Yeah.
And now I regret it. Like I miss the old Joe. I miss the old atmosphere. But maybe
let go of the past. It's because you're living in the past.
When the Red Wings go to playoffs, then we'll talk. And we can reevaluate this conversation.
You started this conversation, one.
Anyways, this is a Passive and Aggressive MMA Cast, episode 3.
Can't believe we're already on 3 here.
I know. The Game Cast only has 1.
Little baby podcast.
Yeah, we just released the first episode of the PNA Game Cast. We recorded it yesterday. I got uploaded today. I don't know the dates. Was today the 13th?
12th.
Today's August 12th. And we pretty much talked about
Fire Emblem, Three Houses, a little bit of The Witcher. That was part of our nerd shit. Yeah, the Gamecast basically covers all our nerd shit, comic book stuff, movie releases, in this case a Netflix original release.
Yeah.
Then I jumped into a game review, and then we talked about some politics a little bit.
Tiny bit. It's not a hero.
Politics are invading video games, and I don't like it, and I had to get it out of there.
For the new fans, we used to have a podcast just called the Passive and Aggressive Podcast. We had 49 episodes, and we had like sports, fighting, gaming, everything in between. And we decided to split them up into 2 podcasts to make it more easily accessible for MMA fans.
Easily digestible, I believe, is the phrase. Yes, digestible.
That's better. Gaming nerds can listen to game podcasts. MMA nerds can listen to MMA podcasts.
Because we know you fuckers skipped it.
And it's easier for the SEO.
It's not okay.
The algorithms and shit for
SEO.
Podcasting and shit.
That's it.
So, yeah, this is the 3rd episode of PMA Cast. So, you just want to get right into it?
I'm ready to dive right in.
What'd you do today?
Today?
Did you just work?
I went to work. I got home. I took an hour nap because I was super tired.
I was pretty tired too, but I guess.
Last week, I had one coworker who was off. I had to cover her entire job. And our boss was also off, so I had to cover her entire job as well.
You about to have a pissing contest with me, bro?
I'm not trying to have a pissing contest with you, bro. No, I'm not. I'm just saying. You asked me a question. I'm telling you the results. I was super like strung out. Like had to be everywhere at once last
Long
week.
Days.
This week they're both back. Trying to play catch up. Still a lot of shit to do. I was super tired. Came home. Have to talk to you for about an hour. It's tough. So I had to take a nap to prepare, and so I did.
I know what you mean about the mentally exhausting thing, though.
Like you just get home, it's like, poof.
It's because, well, if you have a long day and you have to use your mind the entire day, it's tiring for sure.
Especially in an office with all that overhead lighting.
Last week,
bad for you.
My backup was out all week, so I had to cover her, and she was out today too on our busiest day. So I had to deal with like a whole last week of covering somebody's desk and the busiest day of the following week. And on top of that, I gave them my 2-week notice. And I'm training somebody else to train on my desk. And on top of that, we hired a new person who's trying to train and shit like that. So it's been definitely mentally draining because I'm used to like just busting out my work shit in like 3 hours. And
just focusing on your shit.
Yeah. But now it's been like 8 hours of straight focusing on the company, which is fine. I have no issues with it. But I can see what you're saying when it's like mentally exhausting.
Yeah. So you did put in your 2-week notice. Is that I think last week you gave your announcement that you've gotten the job?
Yes, and I just took my piss test today.
How did that go? Was it any less stressful than the last time?
Way less stressful because I wasn't.
I feel like you put all that stress on yourself, like
100% in my head. Well, it's like the first time I ever like allegedly used not my own actual human pee, and I didn't know what to expect.
Was it human?
I don't know if it was human.
I'm mostly sure it was human pee, guy.
Party pee, but I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know I was just terrified they were going to search me. Yeah. I was terrified they were going to search me, and I was also terrified that the piss was not going to be the right temperature because I had a buddy who made it too hot and he got fucked over. And I was just like, you overthink things in the head the first time you try and do shit.
Happens.
So I like walked in there. I was like, I'm going to get this done. But then as soon as I got in there, I started
sweating buckets.
And I was like, these guys are going to know. But they didn't give a fuck. They're just like, here, you got 4 minutes to do your thing. Blah, blah, blah.
They're doing their job, man. They're distributing pee and shit. How do you think they feel?
I walked in there today like a man more confident than anybody in the world.
Just swan your chest I've been clean for over 3 months. Can't catch me on shit.
Since right before Memorial Day, and didn't have to worry about no.
It'll laugh so hard if you pop on some contact.
That'd be something ridiculous. That'd be not funny, Dalton.
Hilarious. You'll lose your job, and then you'll lose the job you have.
I want to lose my job I have right now. Like they'd be like.
You're going to be like, oh, how come you didn't get the job? You're like,
they were literally saying, we hope you're joking today. Like, are you just going to come in Wednesday and be like, surprise, I was just joking? Because that'd be pretty cool. Like, just fucking with me and shit. So, yeah, I'd be okay either way. That's why you don't burn bridges, guys.
It's true.
But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about some MMA.
I got you.
So, next week's a really, really big weekend.
We're going straight into next week?
No.
Thank God.
UFC
I'm not ready for that.
is coming up. And unfortunately, I'm going to be on vacation with my girlfriend's family. This happens every time there's a huge fucking fight card.
It literally happened one other time.
Yeah, it's 2 years in a row, bro. It's fucked up. It's stupid. My favorite fighter is fighting, Nate Diaz, and I'm pissed. But
you're not going to be there.
Before we can talk about UFC Fight Night 156, and more specifically, just 3 fights, 2.5 fights.
Okay.
So the fight I don't want to talk about the most is the main event because I didn't watch the main event, and from what I heard, it was underwhelming.
Oh.
I'll say that. But the first fight I want to talk about is Yair Latifi. Is that how you pronounce it? Yair, I-L-I-R. I think it's Yair.
I just thought it was an Iller.
No, it's Yair Latifi.
Nice.
Versus Volkan Ozdemir. And
look at you. He's grown up on the name.
No time. Fucked Yair Latifi up.
I used to really like Latifi. I thought he had a nice well-rounded game. You know, he's
like a smaller DC.
Little massive.
Smaller DC. People like that. Like I usually like root for them because I like to think of them as like kind of like me, like short, stocky. Like that's
the
my
literal
guy.
Underdog.
That's my legend. That's my spirit animal, if you will. But
if you can't reach the guy,
so to put it in perspective on how bad he was dominated.
Oh god.
Volkan landed 92 strikes. Yair landed 20 strikes. Significant strikes, 18 for Yair.
Use the last names, man. Use the last names.
64 for Volkan. And the most notable thing Latifi did was he got one takedown, and it was a slam kind of. But Volkan got up immediately. Didn't absorb that much damage at all.
No.
And it just seemed like Volkan was controlling the pace of the fight 100%. He was staying just out of distance to where his shots were landing. He's the taller, lengthier fighter.
I suppose Latifi did have the wrestling background on him.
Right, and he just couldn't take him down.
Couldn't do it.
And Latifi could not get close enough to land his strikes, and he got exhausted extremely quick. Volkan dropped him twice, and then you could tell Latifi was just exhausted. He looked at the clock at like 2.5 minutes left in the second round. You could just tell he was just like mentally defeated. And then I almost thought he was looking for a way out, but he was not going to quit because that's just who he is. He's a fucking warrior. And Volkan tagged him one more time, stunned him, then fucking finished him. He just flatlined him on the ground. So it was a great performance by Volkan. He's looking like he's looking like a legit contender. Yeah. Like, I would like to see him versus John next.
You think that's the next option for him?
If it's not DC, yeah. I don't think DC is going to fight John. I hope he don't fight John at 205. I really don't.
Interesting.
But next fight, Vincent Luque versus Mike Platinum Nose Perry.
Platinum Nose. He's going to need something in there. Yeah. That's for sure.
This fight, in my opinion, is going to be on the Fight of the Year candidates. For sure. This was an amazing fight from the very beginning. Both guys were fucking throwing bombs the whole time, but it wasn't just like a reckless abandonment kind of fight. They
knew what they wanted to do,
and they both were technical with their striking, which is that goes a long way saying that from Mike Perry because back in the day he used to just
that is what he was.
Like even though he is 2-4 in his last 6 fights,
which seems crazy,
I think he is still improving. Like I think that Mike Perry right now is somebody you should.
He could beat a lot of people.
Yeah, he should still be in UFC 100%. He ain't gonna get cut. He's way too entertaining.
Are people talking about that?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if some crazy shit like that happens.
He's 2-4. Get him out of here.
But a lot of people are pissed off about this decision. A lot of people are. If you look at the striking,
it was a split, right?
It was a split decision, and it was in Paraguay, which Vincent Luque is Paraguay. I think he's Brazilian. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But he's like from South America, and like the judging in South America, the judging in a hometown, everyone's speculates.
Always a bit biased.
Yeah. So total strikes landed. Luque had 85 out of 180 landed. Okay. 47.2%.
I could have done that, man.
Mike Perry, had 116 out of 204 strikes, 56.9%.
That's much higher.
Yes. Significant strikes, Luque 84 out of 179, 46.9%. Mike Perry 87 out of 175. So he had 3 high. No, it's not way higher. But he had 3 more strikes landed with 4 less thrown at 49.7%. Mike Perry on the books has no takedowns out of 2 attempts, which is bullshit because he had a takedown. And I don't actually. He says it was a takedown, but Luque almost pulled guard at the same time, and that's when he had him in the headlock. I don't even know if you watched the fight, but he was like Mike Perry was straight leaking because he was trying to choke him out, and like when you choke somebody out, you put all the blood,
squeeze all the blood out.
Yeah. And overall, like, I'm not mad at the decision. It's an amazing fight.
Numbers just kind of leaning towards Perry.
Yeah, but it's too close to call. Like if you can't call it a robbery, is what I'm saying.
It's not always.
You think Mike Perry won the fight, but. You know, it's not in America, and you know how judges can be sometimes.
And if you're a fighter and you're leaving it to that, if you're leaving it to those judges, then you can't really complain about the results.
And if you look, and he ain't complaining,
right? No, he's not.
And if you look at the damage from the fight,
maybe that's what swayed him.
They both had welts and bruises and cuts, but fucking Mike Perry's nose looked like
was in 2 different spots on his face.
Yeah. Yes, it got pushed in completely and like right to like. Left, it was just completely broke, shattered. Yeah. He was looking in the camera like after the fight when they were announcing it. He didn't even notice.
Like looking at it like he's in a mirror.
He's like, touching it like, oh shit.
Just moved on with the decision though.
It was a loss for Mike Perry, but I think he gained a lot of fans just like he does every time he fights.
It's true.
And he's one of my favorites. He's one of my not like favorite fighters of all time kind of thing, but I really like Mike Perry. I've liked him for a long time.
You have liked him for a long time, even before he's hit like his respectful streak where he, you know, kind of turned himself around, as it were.
Because you always thought he was just.
I thought he was an asshole,
and I was like, bro, he's not this asshole. He's like, there's a lot more to him than just that fucking mean mug approach kind of thing.
Yeah.
He is very funny, and he likes to get people's heads. He's crazy as fuck. But at the same time,
I thought he was like crazy and like he wanted to be funny, and he just did it at other people's expense.
Yeah, but it's not like that. No, he's
like
a pretty nice guy. He's pretty humble too. So
yeah, in this case, he had already shouted out Luke Gay in an Instagram post saying that he thought it was fight of the night. Nothing but mad respect. Didn't have to do my face like that though. Sheesh. He said he should have had his guard up like Luke did.
True.
When I'm healed, we'll train so we can beat these wrestlers.
Yeah, Luke responded to it too, saying much respect, you're a legend, things like that. And Luke called out Wonder Boy after the fight. He's won 6 fights in a row, 4 fights in the past 12 months. And I think that's a good fight. Luke is not ranked. He's not ranked, but Wonder Boy just got brutally knocked out by Pettis. Yep. And the welterweight division is just a lineup that's just stacked right now. So, I mean,
everybody is good.
Who are you going to fight? Like either RDA, it's a wrestler, it's going to be a grindy fight, or you can fight Vince, who's going to be a stand-up war. And the fans are going to like it. Could get you back on the win column, or I can give Vince that shot of becoming a legit contender at the welterweight division as well. And I think Mike Perry's next fight should be Robbie motherfucking Lawler.
Oh, God.
Robbie Lawler.
That sounds awful.
He called
his poor nose.
He called him out a long time ago.
He can't fight for like 6 months, though, right? Like no contact.
He can't have contact to his nose for 6 months, so it's not going to be for a long time.
Yeah.
But Robbie's ranked 13 right now. He's lost like 2 or 3 in a row. And Mike Perry's not ranked yet, but when he knocked out Jake Ellenberger, he caught out Robbie. He goes, y'all know everybody wants to see me knock out Robbie Lawler. And then like all the fans are crazy. And I think that'd be a great fight. I really do. It'd be a stand-up fucking war.
Sounds like a fucking match.
Mike Perry is not a sprawling brawler. Like he's not a sprawling brawler. He's not a brawler anymore like he used to be. He's more technical with it. And Robbie Lawler needs a fucking win too. Like he needs a pick him up fight. He needs something to give him a little more confidence. And this is just has everything in the making for a fight of the night, fight of the year. Mike Perry's never been knocked out. He gets fucking his ass beat at times, but he don't quit. He never quits.
His chin is a bit of a curse.
And same thing with Robbie. They don't fucking quit. They may get their asses beat, but there's no quit in them. So I think it'll be a great fight.
I like it. I like both those matchups.
And Mike Schmacker.
Pretty good so far, yeah.
Valentina Shevchenko versus Liz. One thing I thought was interesting, like I said, I watched the first round. I didn't watch the entire fight. Liz outstruck Valentina total strikes 132 to 84.
Okay.
But the significant strikes were 42 to 18 in Valentina's favor. So I'm assuming, I could be wrong, I'm assuming the Liz strikes were probably on the ground and it's like little pitter-patter shots because they're not significant strikes. So it's
significant strikes is just something that's not a jab though, right? What if you're on the ground, you can't really jab, you're just like dink, dink, dink.
Right, so that's not a significant strike though either. Yeah. So Valentina was the only person that had a takedown, which I thought was interesting. I thought Liz's ground game was the only way she could win, which is how she won in the past. But Valentina has shown how much she's exceeded in her ground game.
It's fucking
submission,
ridiculous.
Her strength, and her wrestling, her grappling, everything.
She's better at everything than everyone. Yeah.
And pretty much that's what, from the consensus of what I've read and what I've seen highlights of, is she just dominated her. She was patient. She wasn't as aggressive to Liz as Liz thought she was going to be. Because it was almost like she was fighting almost like not to necessarily win, but to not lose, like GSP style. And
there's no reason for her to not do that, but I mean, if you're the best there is.
And I guess it made for like a boring fight.
Sure.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't want to call a fight boring, especially I haven't watched it, because that to me, that's something an ignorant fan would do.
Right.
So obviously Valentina is dominating everybody at that division. I don't see any contender for her for a long time. Yeah. Maybe if she goes to 135 again, tries to fight Amanda for the 3rd time, that's the only thing I could think of. But
yeah, it doesn't seem like there is much competition for her.
Right.
It's pretty crazy though. It's just not like she's not super oversized. It's not beefier than all the girls like Cyborg or anything. She's
just really
strong,
really good,
well-rounded, knows what she's doing, knows what to do.
She's like the female Khabib.
Yeah. She's not only a wrestler.
Not a wrestler, but
not
like
just
her,
in one
her background,
dimension.
her up grooming, like she's just like super serious, and you could tell like
Tough.
She grew up in a way that's way tougher than you. And
She's not even super serious. That little dance she does after the fights.
after the fight, you see how
Okay,
she walks into the fights and
Fair
shit.
enough.
You see how she stares down her opponents. She's like no nice, like nothing. Like I'm fucking you up.
No
and
nice.
She fucks everybody up.
She really does.
No nice Shevchenko, guys.
I like it.
Okay, so before we get into UFC 241, I can do a couple hot takes. A few
Hot takes. Favorite part of the episode is always the hot takes.
Trying to do little hot takes every episode.
Sprinkling them in like a garnish.
So this one is just, I only got like two of them. It's kind of funny.
Fucking two
So-
garnishes.
First one, Ally Quinta versus Dan Hooker. They verbally agreed to
Okay.
the UFC 243 fight card, which
Where's
is
that?
the Australia fight card.
Oh.
Dan Hooker is from Australia.
Oh.
And he called out, he said he wants to fight somebody, and I'll see on the pay-per-view card. And Ally Quinta responded, he's like, I'd like to go down under, some shit like that. And they made the fight, which could be a good fight for Al to bounce back after that fucking beatdown
Isn't Dan like much longer than him?
Cowboy gave him. Yeah, for sure. I imagine so. I can look, let me
yeah.
look that up.
I'm sure it wouldn't matter as much to a guy like Iaquinta. He knows how to get in there.
He's a really, really good boxer, and his footwork is amazing. Like
Still can't believe-
I still hold him up in high regards. I really do.
Can't believe Cowboy did that to him, but yeah, I guess it's just chalk that up for Cowboy, not down for Iaquinta.
Yeah, Dan Hooker is 6 foot, so, and he just came off that brutal knockout over James Vick, which I
Yep.
thought James Vick was gonna beat Dan Hooker. I was wrong. Every time I pick James Vick, he gets the knock.
Stop doing that, man.
out.
You need to apologize.
That's
Ruining those guys' nights.
Okay, let's see. Iaquinta. I think he's like 5'10", 5'7". Oh yeah, so he's significantly shorter. But like length doesn't. That's not everything.
It's not the
nowadays.
biggest deal.
Yeah, Iaquinta has a chin. Is you can tell he took those shots from Cowboy. He never quit. There's no quit in him. His cardio is relentless, and he's a dog. He don't mind fighting in enemy territory.
No
And
person like knows what he's doing.
I really like him. He's never been knocked out. He's gotten submitted a couple of times, but he hasn't been finished since 2014. So
Does Dan Hooker have like a background in anything like that, like
Submission-based
jiu-jitsu
wise?
or anything?
not that I know of.
He's not gonna out wrestle Iaquinta.
No, hell no. So I think it'll be a good fight. Obviously, I'm leaning way towards Al.
Way towards.
I like Al. He's a G.
You do like him.
You guys booing me? You guys booing me? Hey, fuck you! I fucked my fucking ass off.
What a New Yorker.
That's my only New Yorker I can kind of do.
It's pretty good.
All right, UFC 241.
That was the only hot take.
Oh shit! Sorry, forgot one more.
You promised me two garnishes.
It
You
was
gave me a
funny.
garnish.
This is a funny one. This
Okay.
one's funny. It's
Okay.
Henry Cejudo
Oh, no.
called out Valentina Shevchenko.
What? In a fight?
Yes.
No.
I'm quoting here.
Oh god.
So I'm out here enjoying my beautiful Sunday in
Can't handle
beautiful
already.
Las Vegas, but my phone just keeps blowing up. That somebody by the name of Valentina Bullet Shevchenko is the most dominant champion in the world, Cejudo said. And you know what? I get a little jelly because she has gold and I want that gold. He continued. Valentina Shevchenko, I have a message for you. I am looking to become the first ever intergender champion that this world has ever seen. I'm calling you out. You can be the next to bend the knee to Triple C.
Is it unreasonable to say that little pipsqueak could get the floor wiped? I think Shevchenko could handle it.
No, she couldn't. And obviously he's trolling here, but I think some people are going to take that the wrong way.
I mean, I hope not.
Sensitive Sallys are out there, 100%.
Towards Cejudo, he's 5 foot nothing. And he's fine.
His coach, Eric, He's Captain
Erica fuck?
Erica fuck. He was on Ariel Hawani's podcast today, and Ariel asked him about it, and he said, "I've been in Brazil for the past 3 weeks,
I didn't
man.
know nothing about that."
I'm fucking confused. He's like, Henry's doing his thing.
We just learned to let it go.
Yeah, so I was just staying relevant, cringe city, and I
That's
like it.
not that cringe. It's funny.
It's funny, but he's cringy as fuck too, because you can. It's like he says it
Maybe
so
we're just
serious.
accepting it though.
He says it so serious.
I mean,
that-
it's a Twitter post, right?
no, it was on Instagram.
Whatever. I forgot. Instagram is the Twitter for the fighters.
He was recording himself while he's driving or something.
That's worse.
Yeah.
That's much worse.
All right, so shout out to Henry.
God damn.
So UFC 241 predictions. We're gonna just do the top 3 fights because I want to spend as much time as possible on the fights I like the most.
Volume. Let's get a volume in those 3 fights.
So you mean quality?
No.
Not quantity. Not like let's pick at every fight. Let's just pick
Volume instead of quantities. Volume is like how much it is, like how much there is, rather than how many there are.
quality.
Volume.
Quantity.
Volume. Let's keep saying it.
Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa.
Muscle ball.
You think that's better than my Joe Louis shit?
100% better.
Jesus Christ.
Times 5.
Paulo is
500%.
his coach is Eric. I got
Erica fucker?
I have
Erica fuck?
Eric Albarakin. I should be able to pronounce that. I've heard his name so many times, but I'm bad at names. So both fighters have been out for over a year.
It's true.
Injuries, and they're booking the fight, then things happen, so they get unbooked, canceled,
IVs and shit.
Yeah. And they finally got the fight locked down, and it's been quiet because of the 2 fights above it. So it's like, it's kind of flowing under the radar.
Sure.
Yoel is the favorite, minus 150. Paulo is plus 120. Close odds.
Very close.
All these fights are really close odds, by the way.
That's closer than I would expect for someone against you, Romero, but...
Yeah, I honestly, like, if you look at Paulo Costa's resume,
right,
his best fight, the best person he's fought is Uriah Hall. He TKO'd him. He's 12-0. He beats everybody. He TKO'd Johnny Hendricks as well, but that was big rig after USADA. There we go.
Right.
And
big difference.
one thing I do like for Paulo is that he called Yoel out a long time ago, and he seems very confident that he can beat him. Yeah, he thinks he's stronger. He thinks he's faster. He thinks because he's younger that he's going to outwill him. He's going to outcardio him. Thing is age hasn't been a factor for Yoel ever. He's
literally
42
ever.
and he's
fucking
still
absurd.
fighting like he's a 20-year-old. He's more athletic than almost 95% of the people in the UFC.
Straight up freak.
He hits like a fucking brick house. He's built like a brick house. He's super strong, and the only person he's ever lost to in UFC is Robert Whittaker. And a lot of people think he won the second fight.
True.
So Yoel Romero ain't no slouch.
So again, I think that's way too close as far as odds go, just based on what we know about the two fighters. But I mean,
Yoel's beat everybody, the cream of the crop. Yeah. He's knocked out Weidman. He's brutally knocked out Rockhold. He broke Rockhold's jaw. He fucking beat Tim Kennedy, but that fight was on some bullshit. Like Tim Kennedy was training to win that fight, and then there was like some greasing, and they had to like wipe out.
There's always something.
Yoel Romero and things like that.
You called him a cheater for the longest time.
I did, because that was cheating.
It was.
Like, I don't necessarily think it was him. It could have been his coach, but it was his team did it.
Someone fucked up.
Yeah, but he's beat everybody. He's beat Jacare, which I honestly thought Jacare won that fight. I think Yoel fucking destroyed him in the first round, but then Jacare won rounds 2 and 3 because Yoel got gassed, and Jacare is a tank as well.
Yep.
So that being said, he still beats everybody. He has. And Eric, Paulo's coach.
Erica fuck.
Yeah, he used to coach Yoel Romero in the past. He told Ariel a long time ago that Yoel was going to be the next middleweight champion before anybody knew who he was.
A long time ago?
So, yeah. So he knows he knows a lot about Yoel. And Eric thinks that Paulo is like, hasn't been more disciplined for a fight camp than anybody in his entire fight history, his career.
He's like focused on this.
He's super focused that he's doing all the little things that like makes the champion, like doing meditation and doing the mental work on top of the fight camp itself. And he said he was honored to fight somebody as tough as Yoel. He considers Yoel the champion because he says he thinks that Yoel beat Robert Whittaker the second time.
Interesting.
And I looked up what Paulo thought about what he's going to do, and he's super confident. I got quotes.
Oh, God.
It says, I'll hunt him down from the first moment because I know he will feel my strikes when I connect with them. Of course, I'll remain and won't rush it. I'll wait for the right moment, and if by chance, which I find unlikely to happen, he wants to do the opposite and hunt me down, he will get countered and fall faster than he can imagine. I'm certain that if I beat Romero like I will, with a convincing win, like I always do, by knockout, my next fight will be for the belt. I'll be watching the fight between the interim champ and linear champ, Adesanya versus Whittaker, to see who my next opponent will be.
That's what Paulo said?
Yes.
Oh.
Very confident.
Oh. I thought that was Romero in the first part.
Nope, that was all
Paulo. Shit.
He's ready to throw down against Yoel.
I don't know about
I'm curious to see.
That.
I want to see how much bigger Paulo is compared to Yoel.
Too. Like, I guess
so it's literally like
they're exactly the same.
Yoel's 6 foot, Paulo's 6'1". Yoel has 73.5 inch reach. Paulo has 72 inch reach. But as far as like stockiness, I don't know. This is a great fight.
This is like the most even physical fight between two tanks ever.
Jacare
was bigger than Yoel, right?
Jacare.
It's not silent. Jacare is much bigger, if you ask me.
Oh man, he might be taller, but as far as like physiques, these are like pretty fucking close.
Yeah.
But as far as competition, you always fought way stiffer competition.
Yeah.
As far as ages, Paulo's a lot younger. He's fucking 14 years younger.
I think the counter striking could definitely be a big deal, depending on like either of these two guys could go in banging, and
Well, if you think,
maybe if their shots don't connect and they start getting like impatient or something, like how come this isn't working? I'm supposed to be confident for this, and then they.
Yoel is very patient. And
He is patient.
He never really presses the fight. Like he'll in the first round he explodes a lot, but he's very patient and he tries to conserve his energy. So in the third and fourth round, he still has that knockout power. Example Rockhold. Example Weidman. Example Whitaker when he dropped him in the fourth round. You know. So if Paulo pushes the action, pushes the pace on him, I'm curious. I'm sold. I'll let you take this pick though because I want to take the second pick. Obviously,
You don't want to pick the main event.
I'll pick the main event.
Well, it's too late now. You already gave me the third.
But
pick.
I want my next fight because if you were going to pick Nate Diaz, I would literally throw this fucking wireless mouse at your head as hard as I can.
That's aggressive, but all right. So.
I'll let you pick, and then I'll tell you who I was gonna pick. How about that?
That sounds fair. Part of me wants to lean towards Romero because what you've explained so far is basically like an experience gap.
Huge experience gap.
Where Romero knows his limits. He's gone past them already, and he's suffered for it, so he knows how to control himself. He's fucking 49, so he's not gonna be like a youngster.
Another thing Eric said was that Yoel is 42, but he hasn't fought like he's 42 yet, and he hopes that when he fights Paulo, he fights like a 42-year-old. Because he said there's a lot of fighters that one fight they fight like they're 25, and the next fight they fight like their age, and he thinks that
it's true. That could just literally happen at any time, but
it can. Time is undefeated. That being said, Yoel is a freak of freaks.
And either way, it means that he's got his brain on him. He's not going to be overwhelmed by the challenge or the lights. They're third on the card, so it's not the biggest thing. But
yeah, Yoel's been in main events. The lights aren't going to affect him. If anything, the lights might affect Paulo.
Right. So I think I'm leaning towards Romero just because of all of those outside factors. Just how much Romero has already gone through. Physically, like we've said, they're very similar. They can knock each other's head off at literally any moment. I think Costa's going to have his head rolling.
How's Yoel going to win?
That's going to be a first-round knockout.
First round?
Yeah, man.
I had Yoel winning as well. I was leaning towards Yoel.
Fucking copycat.
I think just because of his experience fighting everybody at middleweight, and I don't think age is a factor for Yoel. Not yet. I don't. Maybe at 45, I think he's just such a freak athlete. He's one in a million that you can't rely on age to beat him. And if your coach is relying or hoping that his age is going to catch up, like, what if it doesn't? Are you still confident?
Do you have a game plan for that?
Are you still confident in Paulo? I'm sure he probably is, but I'm sure he's way less confident that it's going to go Paulo's way a lot easier.
If this is Romero versus Knuckles, I think you're the worst standing competitor for him than Robert Whitaker.
Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if Paulo wins, though. If Paulo can dominate him by like pressing the action and pushing the pace and finishing him like he finished everybody else, then he's scary.
And maybe the age does catch up with him. It's been a whole year, right? There's been injuries and shit.
It's possible. It is possible. If he beats Yoel fighting, I think Whitaker's going to beat Israel, but I don't know. That's such a good fucking fight, too. Him versus either one of those guys will be fucking amazing.
That will be.
Like, good times in middle, like good times at fucking every weight class, really.
It's true.
Except like heavyweight, they kind of got need to do something. But even then, Volkan Ozdemir's fucking shit up. Johnny Walker versus Corey Anderson.
You just need someone to beat John Jones.
Thiago Santos almost did. Maybe if he had a knee, who would have thought? But,
I like him in that rematch.
Next fight, Pettis versus Nate. Pettis is a minus 130. Nate is a plus 100.
Huh?
Yeah.
Why?
I thought that was very weird.
What?
But I guess a lot of people don't like Nate like I do. Stockton motherfuckers. Nate is my guy. So I don't like almost never. Here's the thing with Nate. I will find a way to explain how he will win almost any fight.
It's true. I've heard it. It's awful.
Like you can like pick any fighter in welterweight or lightweight, and I can tell you how Nate can win that fight.
Nate versus GSP.
GSP now?
No.
Or like GSP in his prime?
Sure. When he came back and fought, who the fuck did he fight? Bisping.
Oh, then yeah, I think Nate can win that fight because GSP got slow.
A little bit.
He got like you could tell all that extra muscle he packed on was starting to fuck with his cardio. That being said, he also had that shit going on in his stomach or whatever, and I think he was like really, really sick the week before. Obviously, if he fought Nate, he wouldn't be that big at all. I'm sure he would try to stay at a healthier weight at 170. That fight's a very tough fight for Nate because GSP has the best MMA wrestling in the UFC.
It's true.
Nate has amazing jiu-jitsu. Nick has better jiu-jitsu.
It's true.
And GSP, just GSP Nick.
Right.
Like, Nick landed some shots, But Nick and Nate don't necessarily have the one-punch knockout power that's needed against somebody.
So they just got controlled.
Yes, I think GSP would control Nate. But really, you had to pick GSP of all.
You said you could do any fight. You literally challenged me to do that.
The only way GSP or Nate could win that fight is if he could somehow exhaust GSP.
You know, they can get a sneaky submission if GSP does get antsy or, confident in himself.
He's way more lengthy than Nick is. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's possible, but
we've seen those.
If I had to bet the house, I'm betting the house on GSP.
Okay, so, maybe your Nate Diaz defending powers aren't as good as you thought.
Well, GSP is my favorite fighter of all time. I throw a lot of favorites out there, but
you
GSP
really do.
Is the favorite.
You got like 5.
Yeah, I do. But GSP's number 1. Always, forever, will be. He's the greatest. He's the GOAT. And then DC's second, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I'll argue with them.
No one said anything.
So,
right.
In my opinion, the only way Showtime has a chance to win this fight is by doing what every other fighter has done when they try to beat Nate, is leg kick.
Take those legs right out of there.
Because Nate fights southpaw. He typically keeps his leg
He's a fucking moron about
planted, and he likes to box.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, his last fight against Connor, who was limping at the end of the fight? Connor.
Who got sat down 3 times.
I'm not making this a competition about Connor.
Okay.
I'm saying the reason why Connor was limping was because Nate was checking those leg kicks.
Oh, was that the end? Okay.
Yeah, Connor even said that in the post-fight conference that he was not expecting Nate to be so good at checking the leg kicks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're only relying on that to slow Nate down, it's not a good strategy. Because number 1, it's not a 5-round fight. It's a 3-round fight.
Yeah.
Number 2, when you look at Anthony Pettis, his last fight against Wonderboy, amazing. Sure. Okay? I'll give him that. But before that, he fought Michael Chiesa, which was another great performance that I thought he was going to lose. Before that, he was just losing.
Yeah,
quite a bit. He lost to Max Holloway. He lost to Tony Ferguson. I'm sorry. Tony Ferguson was in between Wonderboy and Michael Chiesa. Then after Chiesa, he lost to Dustin Poirier. He got submitted by a body triangle, and he was fucking getting just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then before that, he beat Jim Miller. Cool. He beat Lyme disease Jim Miller. I love you, Jim Miller.
Jesus.
Jim Miller is like way past his prime, though.
Well, still, everyone else that he's lost to, those are champions. Max
Holloway. Then he beat Charles Oliveira because he went to 145 after getting his ass beat by Edson Barboza, Eddie Alvarez, and RDA in a row, which are RDA, Eddie, wrestlers, unlimited cardio. Those are the kind of guys that beat Showtime. Then he fought Edson Barboza, which Showtime's higher ranked in, I think it's Taekwondo. I'm an idiot. I don't know what his background is.
Art is, yeah.
They both have the same background, though. And Anthony's a 3rd-degree black belt in it, and Edson's a 2-degree black belt, 2nd-degree, whatever. And Edson outstruck him. That being said, his coach said that he wasn't in the best mindset during a lot of those fights. He had some drama shit going on in the house, whatever. And now he's a lot better off, which, if you're looking at his performance against Wonderboy, sure, it was an amazing performance. Amazing performance. Actually, it was an amazing knockout. Wonderboy was winning the fight.
Yeah, I think so.
He was out striking him big time, and then every time there was like 2 seconds left in the fight, they do that for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Showtime does Showtime shit. He does crazy shit.
He just hears it and he starts going.
So he did a push off the cage, Superman punch. Wonderboy wasn't expecting him to get in that distance. Got clipped, got knocked the fuck out brutally. Nate, don't get knocked out.
Yeah, he'll literally just stand in that same spot as you Superman punch him.
Yeah, Nate, Wonderboy gets dropped a lot. He got dropped by Woodley a few times in both those wars.
Yep.
And he obviously got knocked out by Showtime. Nate got dropped by Connor like 2 times or 3 times in the first round and completely recovered. Never once was in danger.
Right.
He just clipped him. He dropped. And right when he got to the ground, he's like, come on. Like, he's good. Like, as many times as he fought and as many wars he's been in, his chin ain't shot yet.
Right.
It's not. And if you look at the ground games, Showtime has some sneaky submissions. He has an underrated jiu-jitsu game. Nowhere near the level of Nate.
I think going up to the ground with Diaz would be a bad option.
If you're thinking about wrestling, Nate is a better wrestler.
Think again.
Nate is underrated when it comes to his wrestling for sure. Also, if you look at their sizes, Nate's a lot bigger than Showtime.
I would imagine so.
Showtime is 5'8". Nate's 6 foot. Nate has a 76-inch reach. Showtime has a 72.5-inch reach.
Yikes.
And who uses their jab really, really well? Nate.
Max Holloway. Oh, okay.
who's a great boxer? Nate Diaz.
Okay,
and if you're talking about pressure, Yeah, Max Holloway is like a good version of the Diaz bros.
He really is.
He fights
yeah.
just like them.
Exactly.
And talking about pressure and pressure fights, Pettis gets crumbled under those pressure fights against Tony Ferguson, against Max Holloway, against not Edson Barboza, but Eddie Alvarez and all them. But I won't count Eddie and RDA because they're wrestlers. Nate will fight him the same way Tony and Max did.
Yeah.
The only shot Pettis has is his leg kicks to slow Nate down, God damn it. And I think that's just not. I'm not willing to bet money on that.
It's not his super weakness anymore.
Yeah. So I honestly think if you're trying to win money, you bet it on Nate right
I cannot believe he's an underdog.
I can. People fucking hate on Nate. They always have. They always hate on the Diaz bros. And
still
recency bias.
He almost beats Connor, but you think he's going to lose to Pettis. I guess he hasn't fought in 3 years. He's not old though.
Motherfuckers forget. He's 34.
I forgot about Dre.
He's been fighting since he's 17. I have some quotes from him because he was in the
literally always have to.
He was in a 40-minute interview with Brett Akamoto earlier, and they recorded it a few weeks ago and they just released it.
Right.
He had all kinds of shit. At first he was talking about how the UFC is dogging him, saying that he's always rejecting fights, and you guys are giving me fucking no names or prelim fighters, and I'm like, that's not me. I'm one of the best fighters in the game. I'm one of the most popular fighters in the game. I burp, everybody fucking hears it.
That's interesting. Okay.
And he was talking shit about when Nate beat Connor, it was this huge thing. Oh my God, Connor needs a rematch immediately. This, and that. Connor beats Nate. It's all of a sudden Nate, okay, back down. No rematch, no nothing. You just back down. You got to start over. Then Connor gets the Floyd Mayweather fight. Then Connor gets the Eddie Alvarez fight, title fight immediately after the Nate fight. And then he gets the Floyd Mayweather fight. And Nate's like, I'm not even mad at him. You do your thing, but you, he said that, you're a spoiled ass or some shit like that. You get gifted shit. And if you came where I came from, you wouldn't have made it, kind of thing. He's like, I've been fighting motherfuckers that were black belts in my UFC debut when I was just a purple belt, and I was submitting everybody, and I fought everybody, and nobody's fucking fought the people I fought. Nobody's been around since I've been around and still at the top of their shit. I'm an OG, and I'm only 34 years old saying shit like that.
Well, he still hasn't fought in 3 years though.
So
okay,
one of the quotes. I'll say this quote, then I'll respond to that. If you came from where I came from the beginning, you wouldn't have even made it into the fight, the first one. I'm talking about Connor.
Jesus.
I'm throw me some fucking love out here from time to time. It's not only love, but it's just and he makes a shoving aside motion. Oh, look, title fight with Eddie. Eddie's easy. I beat McGregor in between when he knocked out Jose Aldo. I fucked him up, beat him again, but lost. Then he fights for a title. Then he fights Mayweather, and then they're fucking... This guy's turning down fights? Is that not a kick in the ass? Hold up. I don't need to be a part of none of that, but I can't get a fucking compliment?
I mean, it's true. They have literally always dogged or gave Diaz the short bone.
Yeah, I don't know why. I get they're difficult to deal with.
Yeah, do they think they're bad for the brand or something?
They're not. Pay
they're
them.
Enormous.
Joe said it one of the podcasts. One of his most recent ones.
Yeah.
He said Nate's the most underutilized superstar in the UFC, and it's
true.
true because Dana just has a thing against them. I don't know why.
I don't get it.
Dana is a businessman, and I know he gets emotional, but if you're thinking money wise, Nate sells.
The Diaz beefs are always hot topics.
Fuck yeah, they are. So
the beef with Khabib. Now we have a beef with Showtime, and they're just muting it for some reason.
Yeah, the beef with Showtime stems from way back. They should have fought a few times.
Yeah,
and there's some bullshit. It's not it's not only Nate's fault that he hasn't fought in 3 years too. He was lined up to fight Dustin Poirier. Dustin backed out of that fight because of an injury. And Nate don't back out of fights. And Nate brought that up too. He's like, how come nobody's bringing up Dustin backed out because of an injury? And he's
now he's got a belt.
And he's like, in my opinion, I already won that fight. And Brett is like, why?
By default.
Yeah, Brett's like, why do you think he wasn't there? He's like, because he couldn't sleep at night. He's talking shit. And he's like, look, if I have to train with somebody at 7 p.m. tomorrow, I'm going to be there. And if I'm not, then I lost. That's how I see it. And if you can't go up to set up to fight because of personal reasons, your girl is mad at you, whatever, you got a bruise or whatever, he's like, that's on you. You better show up.
It's true.
I show up, you show up.
It's literally your job.
And I like Nate. I love Nate. It's just refreshing Nate being in the fucking shit. So my pick, I'm picking Nate, and I'm picking him by third round TKO.
Third round TKO.
Yes, I think he's going to overwhelm Showtime. It's either going to be third round TKO or it's going to be a decision where he decisions him like how he decisioned Michael Johnson, just straight clowning him. I don't think Showtime is saying he's going to embarrass Nate and he's going to expose Nate for who he really is.
Well, he's got to say something.
He's talking a lot of shit and he seems emotional. Nate's like, give Nate a reason to try a little bit harder. You know what I mean? He's already going to be working his ass off because he knows what's at stake. He knows the level, the pinnacle that he's at now, and he's not going to just throw that out for nothing, you know?
Interesting. You don't think after a 3-year hiatus that we see unmotivated Nate?
No, I completely don't. Nate says that fighting's his hobby. He trains no matter what. He has to train.
Hasn't it always been his hobby? And we still saw unmotivated Nate at some points.
Yeah, when he's making 20-20 every single fight, and he's thinking that the UFC's fucking him over, and he's watching other people who come in and they have one flashy knockout, or they come in and they have a little bit of hype behind them, and they immediately get title shots while he's over here fighting everybody else.
That's still happening.
Yeah, but now he's getting paid more.
Maybe.
Not
obviously.
He's getting paid millions,
but probably not what he's due.
Mm-hmm. Millions a lot better than 40K though.
That's true. It is very true. I guess I have to go with Pettis, the favorite. I guess that's not too bad, right? I agree. I think it'll go at least the distance or third round. So I'll go with a decision for Pettis. He's got to get the volume in. Don't get punked by Nate. That's like rule 1 against the Diaz. Don't get punked. Kick the leg. Hope he doesn't check them all.
I don't think
he's a good kicker though, right? They got great kicks.
Head kicks, body kicks. I do not know about leg kicks.
I mean, if you can hit the body in the head, surely you can.
Right, but he's not known for leg kicks. He's not like a Justin Gaethje where he's known for
or
chopping people down.
Yeah.
So
he's got to avoid the ground. I think
it'll. Nate's not gonna try.
He's not gonna try to. Yeah, he's not gonna pull guard or no shit.
He might pull guard. Showtime might do something stupid like try to do some crazy flying kick, and then Nate will just be like, "All right, bitch, I'm
down we go."
Yeah, and then
all right, I can see that.
Choke him out.
I think Pettis, his ideal chances are trying to keep it on the feet. Don't get hit by the reach. Get inside, kick his leg.
Try to slow him down.
Just do the damage, and then get to the end of the fight.
Sound pretty confident in that. Huh?
I know, right? I was not gonna pick Pettis going in. I'm very surprised that he's the favorite still. But like you're saying, people just hate.
Yeah, this is why
Nate.
I gave you the first and last pick because I really wanted to pick my boy Nate. I'll never not pick Nate. Nate's my guy.
Very fair.
So, third fight, my other favorite fighter of all time.
How convenient.
One of the best. Top 2, top 3. If you want to put John in there, whatever. I'd still fight against it. I think DC pound for pound is a better fighter than John. Even though he lost to him, there's asterisks behind every single fucking loss. Ching. I want to see John Jones fight who DC fought at heavyweight. I want to see John Jones fight Rumble twice. And
I want to see that too. Big beef cow.
Yeah, they come to
Rumble. Let's do it.
Okay, so Daniel Cormier is a minus 145. Stipe is a plus 115. And all these odds I got is from OddsShark. Like there's different betting websites. Yeah, it's like the number one for MMA.
Is that like straight from Vegas or something, or do they do their own thing? Like how does that work?
I don't know. On their website, it had a list of a bunch of other betting sites, and they're slightly different. But OddsShark is the one that, from what I've heard, is like most people use their odds.
Interesting. Okay.
So
they should be respectable in it,
right?
Some way.
So DC was just on Ariel's podcast, and he looked really good. He looked really healthy. He looked lean. And he looked like he's happy.
He said he's like in his best shape he's been, right? Because of the back. Yeah,
when he fought Derek Lewis, he weighed in at like 251.2 pounds, which is the most he's ever weighed in. And Ariel said, how much is he weighing right now? And he said he's weighing around 240. And he might weigh in at like 235, which is amazing for DC. He just had the back surgery after Derek Lewis fight. And he said like Ariel was asking him, like, honestly, how was this fight camp? But he said like in the first few weeks, like it was horrible. He was getting hit by people who he shouldn't be getting hit by.
Right.
His movement wasn't the greatest. His cardio wasn't there. And he said if he was like that by week 7, he was going to just retire, give the belt up. But everything changed, obviously. He's obviously very confident in his skills now. And he seems like he's ready to go. Stipe's always ready to go. It's been
a long time since we've seen Stipe.
Yeah, that's one thing Daniel said he's kind of like has beef with Stipe about, is that like, it's like you sat out this entire time and you're not going to wait. Or like you should have fought somebody kind of thing.
Definitely should have.
But it's okay. But it's probably a good thing for Stipe he didn't fight anybody, because he had that war with Ngannou and then got hit one time by DC. Not saying DC don't have power.
Still touched
the button. But he ate fucking shots from Ngannou. All kinds of brain trauma there.
Yeah.
And then he got knocked the fuck out by DC. It's good to let your brain heal.
How long has it been? Do you know?
It's been over a year.
Definitely been over a year.
Let me see. I can tell you in a second for sure.
Not surprised that DC is the favorite. I do like that all these fights are such close odds. Nothing over 200 for either fighter. It's pretty crazy.
Just lets you know that they're making good matchups.
For real.
So his last fight was July of 2018. So it's been about a year and a month.
Yeah. Guess it's not the worst.
And before that, he was on
go.
a fucking 6-fight win streak in the heavyweight division, which is like unheard of. Only person that's been on a heavyweight win streak like that is Daniel DC Cormier because he's undefeated at heavyweight. He's like at heavyweight. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 fights in a row.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fights.
Heavyweight, which is unheard of. The only other person that's had that is Fedor Emelianenko.
God damn.
Yeah.
What a name
goat.
to be standing
For
next
real.
to.
22-1. It's just a goat. I'll let you make the pick.
Right, sure.
I'll tell you, me personally, I think Stipe is a little emotional about this fight. Like, you can tell Stipe doesn't like DC. And Stipe keeps talking about how Daniel got lucky. It was just a lucky punch.
Stipe says that he can win this fight 9 times out of 10.
Right. And Daniel Cormier Ariel asked him, he goes, if you look at the beginning of the fight, it was kind of looking like Stipe was winning the fight. And he's like, what do you think when Stipe says this, and that, and whatever? And Daniel was like, well, if you look at a lot of my fights, I lose the first round. I lost the first round against Rumble both times. He's like, I'm trying to judge the range. I'm trying to judge the distance before I execute my game plan. And if you look at the strikes and the numbers at the end of the first round of Stipe's fight, he said their significant strikes were like virtually equal. So yeah, he was winning the first couple minutes, but then Daniel started getting his pace, and Daniel started getting his rhythm going, and he was able to find his range. And I rewatched the fight, and it's true, Stipe was winning at first, but Daniel was landing at the end of the fight. It wasn't just one punch. He was landing several punches. He had that fucking brutal eye poke, which Daniel kept putting his hands up to try to like get the distance. Yeah. And which you can't do.
It's illegal now, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was illegal then too. He could have gotten a point taken away. But
I thought it was like more strictly enforced now, or maybe that was
I think that was already
beforehand.
I think it was implemented beforehand. So I'm not saying Stipe can't win this fight. He can definitely win this fight. Stipe is also one of the best heavyweights of all time. My only concern is if Stipe is going into this fight and he is telling himself that he got unlucky and DC got lucky and landed a lucky punch on him.
He's not facing
he's going to
the
get knocked out again.
Flaws that he has.
He needs to hold himself accountable, know that Daniel Cormier is a legend, know that he is an amazing heavyweight fighter. He will be able to knock him out anytime. He will be able to take him down at any time. And he has to fight him like he is aware of those things and not just trying to push the pace and just pressure DC.
Try to do what he did to Verdum or something, but
and another
it's
thing,
not this.
And another thing you got to keep in mind too is that was Daniel's first fight back at heavyweight. He's already fought.
Oh God, that was the warm up.
Yeah, this is his third fight at heavyweight now. He's got his weight back in check. He knows the right weight, the right range. He knows how his body feels at heavyweight again. So I'm leaning towards DC, but I'll let you make the pick.
I feel like this fight either ends in a KO, submission, or decision. That's all the victories, isn't it?
I can't believe you just. Are you being
literally
serious?
All of them. Yeah, and I think DC has the higher chance of doing literally all 3 of those things, which is why I pointed him out. Specifically, he's the better fighter in all 3 victory conditions.
So you're picking DC?
But
you want to also here? I'll tell you the size difference.
Oh, sure.
As far as their build, is DC a big boy? He's a stocky boy. He's legit stocky. His back is fucking
a barrel.
Huge.
Just a barrel of meat.
So Stipe's 36, DC's 40, so it's not a huge age difference.
Fair.
DC's 5'9", Stipe's 6'3".
Yikes.
So 6-inch height disadvantage. And then Daniel has a 72.5-inch reach, and Stipe has an 80-inch reach. That being said, DC has had reach and height disadvantages for almost every single one of his
Literally the name
fights.
of his game.
Yeah.
And I obviously didn't pan out for Stipe in the first fight. He is saying...
I don't think he's gonna fight DC the same way. If he does, he's stupid.
Well, definitely, but I mean, if you're feeling emotional about it, you might just revert to that fighter muscle memory.
DC said he wants to break him.
Jesus Christ.
He said that. Ariel was like, that's like a rough thing for you to say because of like it happened with John and all your past. He goes, yeah, when John Jones, the second thing happened, he's like, I was broken. And he's like, but I was like, I'm one of the luckiest people in the world because John fucked up. I got the belt all over again. I had to pick myself back up. And now look, I got the heavyweight title. And like, look how this happened. I'm blessed kind of thing. And he was saying like, he just thinks that the way Stipe is just like disregarding DC for what he did and saying that it was all luck and not fighting the whole time. He's like, I'm just sick of him. I'm sick of him being a little crybaby. And he's going to He wants to break him. He wants him to feel that defeat again.
That's really mean. That's really mean, DC. How are you supposed to be GOAT person if you're being mean to Stipe like that? I think I'm going to go...
I think it's warranted.
I think I'm going to go with Stipe.
Damn, were you serious?
Yep, I think I'm going with the hot takes here. I think won't be age that's getting to DC, but I think he might be underestimating Stipe a little bit. That size is a big factor.
He did say that he does not see how Stipe can beat him in anywhere in the fight, which...
I guess, but anything can happen at this size.
Yeah, Stipe can knock DC out. Stipe can take DC down.
Probably not the best option.
No, I'm not saying that he'll win a wrestling match with him, but he has the tools to take DC down.
Yeah.
Just like Gustafsson had the tools to take him down, you know?
Probably better to utilize those tools to avoid the takedown.
Right.
Keep your distance. Try to force Cormier to make a mistake or something. Walk into him.
Like how he used to.
Right.
Stipe used to fight technically. People forget he's a Golden Gloves boxing champion. And he used to fight just to win decisions. And then he started getting knockout hungry. He found out his power in his hands. And he started
I can do this too.
Yeah. And then he kind of fell in love with the knockout. Yeah. And if he fights, he
the
moves
way
his feet
I think
a
if
lot,
he fights the way he's supposed to,
he can win.
I think he's got a really good chance. And
by decision?
I am betting that he does it. I'm going to go... he doesn't finish Cormier, man. But 5 rounds of that? God.
Dude. You know you're talking about the king of the grind, right?
I know. 3rd round, TKO. He's going to clip him and then start smashing him on the ground.
Okay. I'm going with DC. 2nd round knockout.
Oh, no. He's going to do it to him.
Not a TKO, knockout.
Oh, no. He's going to do it to him.
Yep. It's probably going to be very similar.
What do you think happens for Stipe if that does happen?
He's still a contender because DC is going to sail to the sunsets, hopefully.
Yeah.
He said he's not going to fight Ngannou. The only fight is John Jones. That's it.
Yeah, that is what he said. He's either retiring or fighting John Jones.
Yeah, he wants to fight him at light heavyweight, which I think is fucking stupid. Fight him at heavyweight. Don't do that to your body. Don't do that to yourself.
It's obviously a pride
It's
thing.
on your terms. Even though
that's why he doesn't want to do it.
Right.
He wants to continuously run it back.
He lost both the fights, but this is like one of the weird times ever in history where it's on your terms because the other person's a fuck up, and you proved how great you are in a different division, and you've earned your keep.
You've earned the right to force him to come to you.
Yeah,
but he knows that.
Yeah, and he likes money, and they both sell together. Fun fact too. I told you, I think this fight's. I'm saying this fight's gonna break 1 million pay-per-view buys.
You did say that.
Fuck, I forgot about the ESPN thing. Fuck. Because you can only buy it if you have ESPN Plus. That I was not thinking about.
Really?
Yeah. Pay-per-views now, you can only buy them if you have ESPN Plus.
I didn't know that.
It's fucking stupid. So I take back the pay-per-view thing. God damn it. I have to look at...
See, you're ruining your market.
Let me see real quick.
There's no,
pay-per-view buys.
Other factors that go into that? Surely.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's all by ESPN.
That just seems dumb.
I agree. Let me look up. I need to find out what they have been since ESPN. If there's like a website for it.
I mean, it is an enormous card. All the top 3 fights.
It's not that enormous.
It's
top 3 fights. Yeah.
Yeah, the top 3 fights are enormous.
Jones versus Smith was 650,000 buys.
Yeah.
And that was on ESPN.
Is that the highest one? Is it the highest ESPN card?
I don't know.
Come on, man. You're supposed to research faster than this.
UFC 234 on this website doesn't have. It doesn't have anything. So
made no money. It's free for everybody.
UFC 236 was short of 100,000 pay-per-view buys. Who was UFC 236? That was Holloway and Poirier. God damn. That was less than 100K buys. Calvin Gastelum versus Israel Adesanya was on there as well.
ESPN is fucking them up.
I'll say this. Stipe and DC, the last time, they did about 400,000 buys.
Okay.
And...
what about the last time Nate fought without Conor?
It don't matter.
It don't matter anymore.
Why are you even saying that? Because he beat Conor.
Because he got 2 red panty nights, and now he thinks it's all because of him.
You think he didn't add any draw to those fights?
No draw. Just saying, not $2 million worth.
And you think when he beat Conor McGregor, that didn't add a lot of hype to the second fight.
I added a bit of
And
stock
you
to
think
him,
it
but
didn't
not
make-
$2
You
million
think it didn't make
worth.
him a superstar? Because
Obviously, UFC doesn't want him to be a
made him
superstar.
but he is. Despite that, he still is.
Is
So,
he?
Are you
How
fucking
do you
kidding
judge
me?
that? Because, like you said,
You
people
look
don't
up-
like him.
You can look up his social media numbers. You can look up how many people watch his interviews. You can look up the
could.
pay-per-view buys of the past few fights. He top 5 pay-per-view buys of all time. He's in 2 of them with Conor.
I know, but that's why I asked without Conor. How
And
much did he
without-
make on the Michael Johnson fight?
That wasn't a pay-per-view.
Oh, well, shit.
And he don't get main evented like that a lot like he used to. He used to get dicked around. Dicked around. And you need the John Jones to Daniel Cormier. John Jones and DC, away from each other, do not sell like they do together. Both of them together was almost 1 million pay-per-view buys. Conor by himself is an anomaly. I'm not here saying that that Nate's a bigger star than Conor. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Nate's a superstar.
Okay.
And he is.
That's fine.
And Nate is going to bring a huge draw to this fight card. I bet you DC is pretty fucking happy that he's getting pay-per-view buys because Nate's on this card.
I
Guarantee
bet.
that.
No, sure.
So the whole ESPN thing threw me off. I don't know. I was going to say he's going to break 1 million pay-per-view buys, but now I don't know what to judge which is successful pay-per-view now. But I guarantee you people are going to be raving about the pay-per-view buys on this one. I'll say that.
I guess we'll see. That'll be our 4th bet, whether or not that comes to pass.
So obviously I'm going to be out of town on vacation when we do this. So
Sucks for you.
we got to have to take shots afar. Some of these
Snapchat.
bets. That's fine. So you got Yoel.
I've got Yoel. You've got Nate.
Showtime. You got Showtime, Yoel, and Stipe.
Yeah.
I got Paulo Costa, Nate motherfucking Diaz, and Daniel DC Cormier. I cannot believe you gifted me Daniel
I'm mostly
DC
sure I'm going to
Cormier.
take 3 shots.
So that's it. That's all I got. So if you guys enjoyed episode 3 of the PNA MMA cast, make sure you rate this shit on iTunes. It really, really helps the algorithms. It helps get it out there more.
You guys know how it works.
Let everybody else know about it. If you got another friend that's balls deep in MMA, he needs on the podcast to listen to, shout us out, man.
Check us out on Instagram. We upload a few clips for every episode, including the Gamecast, which you can catch end of the week typically. But you never really know, so make sure you subscribe to keep track of all that shit. You can go to our website, pnacast.com. We have all episodes, both categories, both, what do we even call those? Both podcasts, I suppose. But
Gaming and MMA
we can do
podcast,
better.
bro.
There's better.
We got to update the website.
Categorize.
But peace out, Girl Scouts.